Am I the A for not spending this Christmas in the hospital with my daughter? Not the a-hole. My 39F daughter, 16F, has had a sensitive stomach ever since she was a kid. There are certain foods that will upset her stomach to the point where she's unable to stop throwing up. We've seen countless doctors, but so far nobody's been able to give us a clear answer. The only advice we keep getting is to identify all trigger foods and cut them from her diet. We have a pretty good idea of what those foods are: soda and other carbonated drinks, chips, Cheetos, and other similar processed snacks, anything oily or fried, and most sweets. Unfortunately, this is exactly the kind of stuff my daughter loves to eat the most. And as horrible as she feels after she has them, she still refuses to cut them out of her diet, which in turn led to her spending a lot of time in the hospital during the past few years. When she was little, it was easier to keep all these foods away from her, because I simply wouldn't buy them. But now that she's older, I can't always be there to check what she eats. She eats the greasy pizza at her school's cafeteria, she trades her lunch with her classmates, she goes out with her friends and stops to eat at KFC, and so on. And it always ends with her in the ER, crying and shaking because she can't stop throwing up. This was the case on this Christmas Eve as well, when our whole family gathered at our place. And of course, among the many dishes at our Christmas table were some of her main trigger foods, like chips, soda, chocolate, and sweets. Now mind you, these were far from the only foods available to her. We also had a variety of home-cooked, traditional dishes on the table, with ingredients that don't upset her stomach, like vegetables, meat, dairy, etc. All of them delicious and well-seasoned. My daughter herself says she really likes most of these dishes. Despite this, my daughter chose to eat nothing but her trigger foods. I reminded her that they'd make her feel awful, but she said she didn't care, because Christmas is only once a year and she just wants to live a little. This ended with her violently throwing up in the ER a few hours later. She had to be hospitalized for a few days and only just got out of the hospital a few hours ago. And unlike all the previous times when something like this happened, this time I chose to spend my Christmas relaxing at home with the rest of our family, and not in the hospital by my daughter's side. I kept in touch with her through calls and texts, and told her that if she needed anything I'd ask a family member to bring it to her, but I made it clear that I would not be visiting her during her stay. And well, my daughter didn't take this too well. She cried every time we talked on the phone, begged me to come over, told me how horrible I was for abandoning her there all alone, and so on. Most of our family didn't take my side in this either, and during the past few days I got called everything from a little extreme to downright cruel and heartless. Am I the A, Reddit? P has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I refused to visit my daughter in the hospital after she didn't listen to me and spent this Christmas Eve eating nothing but the foods that she knew would make her throw up. However, my daughter is only 16 and leaving her alone in the hospital for several days might have been too extreme of a punishment, as she cried frequently and seemed really distressed during her stay there. Comments. Not sure if I'm gonna be in the minority or get downvoted, oh well, but I'm going with not the A. She's 16 and for sure smart enough and mature enough to know better. As the the saying is, and as much as it's overused on Reddit. Play stupid games. Win stupid prizes. This isn't a case of a 7-year-old that doesn't really know any better. This is a person that will legally be an adult in less than 2 years. She knows full well what she can and cannot eat, and she made a person choice to eat things she shouldn't. While it may seem cruel and heartless. Maybe you leaving her there by herself, obviously she's not since there was plenty of staff there with her, will be the wake-up call she needs to stop eating the shit that makes her get admitted into the hospitals. This OP is dishing out a little tough love in the most appropriate way. This girl is well aware of her food sensitivities and actively chooses to ignore them to the point of needing to go to the hospital regularly. She needs to control herself around foods she cannot have, and she needs to learn that people, including parents, cannot be expected to drop everything to cater to her every single time she goes to the ER. This is not an emergency situation. This is a terribly controlled, chronic issue. Not the A. Add to the expensive part. When she gets home, talk to her about the financial part, if there is one in this circumstance. Show her the cost of insurance each month, then her medical bills. When she reaches adulthood shortly, she'll be responsible for all those costs if she doesn't get her eating under control. It's a tangible way of showing that her issues do not just affect her. Edit to clarify that I didn't mean to make her pay for her hospital bills, just to educate her on the various costs. Perhaps consult a nutritionist for potential ways to incorporate these foods without landing in the emergency room. A professional will surely be able to make some recommendations. And ironically, a lot of hospitals have nutritionists on staff. I think she needs therapy. She likes getting sick. Because she gets all the attention on her, right where she wants it. This is about being the center of her parents' universe. She figured out how she can have everyone's life revolve around her. Working in healthcare has unfortunately shown me the unbelievably large number of people who develop this habit and then continue that behavior throughout their adult life. It is an incredibly dangerous habit as well that can lead to long-term consequences, or even death. Daughter needs to figure out now that those emergency room visits are serious. What do you think? Share in the comment section. Like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.